The glittering orbital station of the Galactic Concordance floated high above the swirling gas giant below. Its smooth silver walls caught the light of distant stars and sent it dancing across the council chamber inside. Beings from many worlds sat in wide curved seats. The air carried strange smells, sharp ozone from one species, sweet plant sap from another, and the dry dust of desert worlds. No one spoke loudly today. Fear made every voice soft. High Ambassador Vexlara stepped to the center podium. She belonged to the Thrin, tall insect-like people with 4 slender arms and large black eyes. Her wings stayed folded tight against her back as she addressed the room. The translators turned her clicking speech into clear words for everyone. "The Krell Dominion has taken 3 more systems," she said. "Their fleets move faster now, stronger. Alara Prime is in their path. If that world falls, we lose our main food farms. Half the coalition will starve before the next cycle ends." A low hum of worry spread through the chamber. The war against the Krell had lasted 20 long years. At first both sides seemed equal. Now the coalition felt like a small boat in a storm, taking on water with every wave. Delegate Kor from Thraxis stood up. He came from a high-gravity world, so his body looked thick and heavy. His deep voice rolled like distant thunder. "We cannot keep fighting alone. We need help, real help, not empty words from old allies." Many delegates nodded. Others looked down at their hands or claws, afraid to agree out loud. Vexlara raised one delicate hand. "We have made contact with a new species. Their home is called Earth, or Sol 3. A hologram flickered to life above the center table. It showed a beautiful blue planet, wrapped in white clouds. Oceans covered most of it. Green lands and brown deserts appeared in patches. At night, tiny lights glowed across the dark side. Cities that never slept. "These humans are new to space," Vexlara went on. "They only learned to leave their world 300 years ago. Yet see what they built." The picture changed to graphs and numbers. Population, 8 billion and still growing. Energy use, rising faster than any young species in history. Factories, already making ships and weapons that could match coalition designs in speed and power. Then came the secret files, the ones marked for high clearance only. Old images appeared. Human cities burning under mushroom clouds, whole regions turned to black glass by fire from above. Millions of lives lost in single battles. Wars that lasted years. Wars that ended with entire countries gone. The strange part? Humans kept careful records of every horror. They wrote books about it, made films, taught the stories to their young. They called the worst days brave or heroic. Delegate Lyra from the Raptori species clicked her sharp beak. Her feathers stood up in fear. "They do not hide these things," she said. "They sing songs about them. They watch them for fun. How can a people like that exist?" Vexlara dipped her head in slow agreement. "Their history is full of destruction. Every time it happened, they rebuilt. Each time they came back stronger. They do not break the way we do." General Scath from the Zorath hissed through his teeth. His scales made a soft scraping sound as he leaned forward. "And their fighters? Show us." The hologram shifted again. It showed human soldiers in thick armor storming an enemy ship. They moved quick and sure. They fired small guns that spat metal very fast. One clip showed a pilot turning his craft so hard that normal beings would black out or die. The human kept control. He laughed over the radio as he won. The chamber went completely quiet. Vexlara spoke once more. "I suggest we ask the humans for aid. Not a full alliance, not yet. Just some help. Sell us weapons. Send a few ships. Let volunteers join our fight." Voices rose at once. The Verdari delegates' green leaves shook. "They will demand payment. Land. Mines. Slaves, perhaps." An old Thrin elder made a soft clicking sound of disagreement. They told our scouts they want only peace in their own systems. Their worlds are well defended. Very well defended. Delegate Kor gave a low laugh. Peace? While the Krell burn planets? I read the first reports. When our scout asked about defense, the human smiled. He said, "We like to take the fight to them." More arguments filled the air. Some wanted to stay far away from these strange humans. The Krell were coming closer every day. Vexlara waited until the room grew still again. I spoke with their leaders by secure beam. They listened carefully. They asked many questions, sharp questions. They did not speak of peace talks or treaties. They asked how many Krell ships we can kill before Ilara Prime is reached. She paused to let the words sink in. They agreed to help, but only their way. They will send small groups called advisors. They will not follow our orders. They want only lists of targets and maps. Nothing more, for the moment. Every eye in the chamber turned to her. Delegate Lyra opened her wings a little. What if they enjoy the fighting too much? What if they look at our galaxy and decide it needs fixing? Vexlara met her gaze steadily. Then we may have saved ourselves from one enemy, only to face a worse one. But at least this one might stop the Krell first. The vote began. Small lights appeared on every seat. Green for yes, red for no, yellow to wait. One light after another turned color. When the final count showed, no one cheered. No one sighed in relief. It passed, just barely. Vexlara lowered all 4 arms in a formal bow. The team will depart in 3 cycles. We travel to Earth. We will ask for their help. She looked slowly around the room at faces full of hope and dread mixed together. And we will hope, she said in a quiet voice, that they give us exactly what we need, and nothing more. Beyond the station walls, stars burned in endless silence. Down on the blue world called Earth, people walked in streets, sat in offices, laughed with friends. They worried about small problems. Bills, weather, arguments with neighbors. None of them knew yet. In a few short cycles, strange ships would appear at the edge of their system. Aliens would come to their door and ask for a favor that could change the stars themselves. The small diplomatic shuttle from the Galactic Concordance slipped quietly into Earth's orbit. It looked tiny next to the many human satellites and stations that circled the blue planet. The aliens inside felt their hearts beat faster. They had come to ask for help from a species that still seemed very young in the galaxy. The shuttle landed softly at a secure field near Geneva. Tall glass buildings rose around them. Clean air carried the smell of green trees and distant rain. A group of humans waited on the ground. They wore plain dark uniforms with no bright colors or medals. Their faces showed calm interest, nothing more. Ambassador Vexlara stepped out first. Her 4 arms moved in slow, polite gestures. Behind her came Delegate Lyra with her sharp feathers, General Scath, whose scales clicked softly when he walked, and 2 quiet assistants carrying data pads. A tall human woman walked forward. Her name tag read Admiral Elena Reyes. She had short black hair and steady brown eyes. She offered her hand in the human way. "Welcome to Earth," she said in clear galactic standard. "We received your message. Please come inside. We have prepared a meeting room." The aliens followed her into a low building with thick walls. Inside, the air felt cool and dry. They passed rooms where humans worked at screens, talking in low voices. No one stared at the visitors. No one pointed or whispered. It felt almost too normal. The meeting room had a large round table. Chairs waited for everyone. On one side sat 5 humans: Admiral Reyes, 2 other officers, a scientist in a white coat, and a quiet man who seemed to just listen. Vexlara took her place. She opened the talk carefully. "We come from the Galactic Concordance. The Krell Dominion attacks our worlds. They have already destroyed many cities and taken many lives. Our forces fight hard, but we lose ground every day. We ask for your help, not to join the war fully, but to give us strength. Sell us your weapons, share some technology, perhaps send a few volunteer ships to guard our people. Admiral Reyes listened without moving. When Vexlara finished, she nodded once. We understand the situation, she said. We have read your reports. Tell us more about the Krell. How many ships do they have now? What is their speed of advance? How many worlds have they taken completely? Vexlara felt a small surprise. The humans did not ask about peace. They did not ask about talks or treaties. They asked for numbers. General Scath answered. His voice stayed steady. The Krell have about 800 main warships left. They build new ones faster than we can destroy them. They move in tight groups. Their weapons are strong at close range. They have taken 12 full systems in the last 5 years. In each one, they leave few survivors. The scientist human leaned forward. What is their industrial base like? Do they use captured worlds to make more ships? How long does it take them to repair a damaged fleet? Delegate Lyra answered this time. Yes, they use slave labor on taken worlds. Repairs take weeks, sometimes months, but they never stop building. The quiet man who had said nothing until now spoke for the first time. His voice was soft but clear. And your side, how many ships can you field in a major battle? What percentage of your population serves in the military? What is your current loss rate per engagement? The aliens looked at each other. These questions felt cold, like someone counting bodies before the fight even started. Vexlara answered slowly. We can field 300 ships at most in one place. Only a small part of our people fight. In the last big battle, we lost 40% of our force. The Krell lost 25%, but kept coming. Admiral Reyes wrote something on her pad. Thank you. One more thing. Have you considered hitting their production centers directly? Shipyards, mining stations, supply depots. General Scath made a low hiss. We try, but they guard those places with many defenses, and we do not wish to harm civilians who live near them. The humans looked at each other for a short moment. No one spoke, but something passed between them. Admiral Reyes stood up. We will discuss this among ourselves. Please rest here. We have food and rooms prepared. In a few hours, we will give our answer. The aliens were led to comfortable guest quarters, soft beds, fresh water, plates of strange but tasty human food. Worry sat heavy in their stomachs. Hours later, the same group met again. Admiral Reyes spoke first. Earth agrees to help. We will sign a mutual aid agreement. We will sell you weapons and parts. We will allow volunteers to join your fight. But understand this, our people will fight their way. They will not join your command chains. They will ask for targets and information. You give us the list. We decide how to hit it. Vexlara felt relief and fear at the same time. That is acceptable. We are grateful. The quiet man smiled for the first time. It was a small, careful smile. One last thing. Our volunteers are already preparing. The first group will leave in 2 weeks. They call themselves Expeditionary Advisors. Small ships. Fast. Very precise. Delegate Lyra could not stay quiet. How many will come at first? 20 ships, Admiral Reyes said. Later, more if needed. General Scath asked the question everyone feared. And if the war grows bigger, if the Krell threaten your own system? The Admiral looked straight at him. Then we will respond. Fully. But for now, this is enough. Papers were signed. Hands and claws touched in agreement. The aliens left feeling lighter. They had help. Real help. On the way back to their shuttle, Vexlara stopped and looked at the blue planet below. They did not smile much, she said quietly. They did not talk of glory or honor. They talked of targets, of losses, of how to break the enemy. Lyra's feathers trembled a little. I heard one human whisper to another as we left. He said, "Finally, something worth shooting at." The shuttle rose into the sky. Earth grew smaller behind them. In hidden bases across the planet, lights turned on. Hangars opened. Sleek black ships rolled out. Crews in plain suits checked weapons and engines. Pilots ran simulations. Officers studied maps of distant stars. A young pilot named Marco sat in his cockpit. He looked at the screen showing Krell ship designs. He smiled. "About time," he said to no one. Far away, in the cold dark between stars, the first human ships began their long jump toward Coalition space. Small, silent, ready. The aliens had asked for a little help. They would soon learn what a little meant to humans. The first human ships arrived without fanfare. 20 sleek black vessels slipped out of jump space at the edge of Coalition territory. They did not announce themselves with loud signals or bright lights. They simply sent a short encrypted message to the nearest Coalition command post. Expeditionary advisors reporting, requesting target list and current intel feeds, standing by. Coalition officers stared at their screens in surprise. The ships were small, each barely the size of a heavy cruiser, but their engines glowed with a steady blue fire that spoke of power far beyond their size. The lead ship carried the call sign Hawk 1. Its captain was a woman named Captain Sophia Chen. She sat in her bridge chair with calm eyes and spoke softly to her crew. He was a tall, thin being with pale blue skin and long fingers. He turned to his staff. "These are the humans. Give them what they ask for, but watch them closely." The target list came quickly. A Krell supply convoy moving through the neutral zone between systems. 30 heavy freighters guarded by 12 warships. The convoy carried fuel, weapons, and food for the next Krell push toward Ilara Prime. If it reached its destination, the Coalition would face another year of hard fighting. The human ships acknowledged the list with one word: understood. Then they vanished again. 3 days later, reports started coming in. Strange ones. The convoy never arrived. Not a single ship. No distress calls. No wreckage fields large enough to explain it. Coalition scouts found only small pieces of twisted metal floating in empty space. Some pieces still glowed from heat. Others showed clean cuts that looked like they came from very sharp blades. No one saw the fight. No one heard explosions. The Krell simply disappeared. Next came the shipyard at the edge of Krell space. It was a huge ring station that built new battle cruisers. Thousands of workers lived there. Heavy defenses surrounded it. Laser turrets, missile batteries, fighter wings on constant patrol. One night cycle, the entire station went dark. Then it lit up again with bright flashes. Seconds later, the whole structure broke apart in perfect silence. Sections drifted away like broken toys. Secondary explosions followed, but they looked small and controlled. The Krell lost the yard and 3 unfinished ships in under 10 minutes. Coalition admirals gathered in emergency meetings. Casualty reports showed something new. Their own losses had dropped sharply in every sector where humans operated. Krell attacks slowed. Their supply lines started to break. Ships that used to arrive in groups now came alone or not at all. Delegate Lyra watched the reports on a screen in the Concordance station. Her feathers stood up straight. "They are not fighting like us," she said to Vexlara. "We attack head-on. We try to capture. They remove things, quietly, completely." Vexlara clicked her mandibles in worry, and they report almost nothing, just objective complete, and then silence. The big change came with the Krell counteroffensive. Intelligence showed a massive fleet gathering, over 400 warships, troop carriers, and bombardment platforms. Their target was clear: Ilara Prime. If it fell, The coalition would lose its main food source. Billions would starve. The war would end in Krell victory. The Council recalled every available ship. 300 coalition vessels formed a desperate defensive line. They waited in high orbit around Alara Prime. Pilots sat in their cockpits. Gunners checked weapons. Everyone knew the odds were bad. Then the human advisors sent a message. We will intercept the main Krell force at waypoint Delta 7. Do not engage until we clear the path. Stay back. Admiral Vorn hesitated. Then he gave the order. Pull our forward elements back. Let the humans go first. The Krell fleet moved like a dark cloud through space. Their ships were large and spiked, painted in red and black. Engines roared with green fire. They expected easy victory. Far ahead, at a point in empty space weeks from any planet, 20 human ships waited. They floated dark and cold, engines off, weapons cold. Sensors watched the Krell come closer. Captain Chen gave the quiet order. Launch drones. Phase 1. Thousands of small drones poured from the human ships. They looked like insects, fast, silver, hard to see. They spread out in wide clouds. Some carried sensors. Others carried tiny warheads. A few carried boarding pods. The Krell sensors picked them up too late. The drones struck first. They hit engines, weapon mounts, sensor arrays. Not big explosions, just precise cuts that left ships blind and slow. Krell captains shouted orders. Fighters launched, but the drones were too many and too fast. Then came the missiles. They launched from extreme range. The human ships stayed far back. The missiles flew silent and dark until the last moment. When they woke up, they moved at speeds that bent light. Some carried nuclear payloads. Others carried kinetic rods. Long spears of dense metal dropped from high speed. The first wave hit the Krell command ships. Bright flashes lit the void. Ships broke in half. Others spun out of control. Secondary explosions followed as reactors failed. Krell fighters tried to close the distance. Human pilots met them. Their fighters danced in ways that should have killed the pilots from G-forces alone. They turned so sharp that normal beings would have blacked out. Human pilots laughed over open channels as they shredded enemy wings. Boarding teams launched next. Small pods clamped onto damaged Krell ships. Marines in heavy armor cut through hulls. They moved deck by deck with shotguns, blades, and grenades. They did not capture. They destroyed. Reactors, bridges, life support. When a ship became useless, they left. Sometimes they set charges to make sure. The battle lasted 9 hours. When it ended, the Krell fleet was gone. 94% destroyed or captured. The few survivors fled in broken ships, trailing fire and debris. Human losses, 12 pilots dead. 2 ships damaged but repairable. Total casualties under 2%. Coalition ships watched from far away. Their sensors recorded everything. No one spoke for a long time. Admiral Vorn stared at the numbers on his screen. They did in hours what we could not do in years. In the Concordance chamber, delegates gathered again. Celebrations started. Cheers, clicks, wing flaps. Then the full report arrived. Silence fell. Vexlara stood at the center podium once more. Her voice was low. The humans have broken the Krell spearhead. Alara Prime is safe, for now, but look at the cost to them. Almost nothing. And to the enemy, almost everything. Delegate Kor spoke in his deep voice. We asked for help. They gave us victory. But at what price to our galaxy? Lyra's feathers trembled. They fight like machines that feel no fear, no mercy, no limit. Vexlara looked around the room. A motion is already being prepared. Recall all human forces. End their involvement. Before they decide the war is too small for them. No one argued. The vote would come soon. But deep in coalition space, The human advisors did not wait for orders. They sent new messages to Earth. Primary objective achieved. Secondary targets identified. Request permission to continue. On Earth, in quiet command centers, officers read the reports. Smiles appeared on tired faces. Permission was granted. The quiet war had just begun to grow louder. The news of the great victory at Waypoint Delta 7 spread fast across the galaxy. Coalition worlds lit up with joy. People danced in streets. Families hugged each other. For the first time in many years, hope felt real again. Ships came home with crews who smiled, instead of staring into empty space. Food shipments arrived on time. Children played without fear of sudden alarms. But in the high chambers of the Galactic Concordance, the mood turned dark. Delegates gathered in an emergency session. The room felt colder than usual. Lights seemed dimmer. No one spoke of celebration. They spoke only of numbers. 94% of the Krell fleet gone. Human losses almost nothing. The battle had lasted less than a day. Coalition ships had watched from far away and done almost nothing. The humans had done everything. High Ambassador Vexlara stood at the podium again. Her black eyes looked tired. "We asked for help," she said in a quiet voice. "They gave us more than help. They gave us a lesson in destruction, a lesson we did not ask to learn." Delegate Kor from Theraxis spoke next. His heavy body shifted in the seat. "The Krell are broken for now, but the humans keep moving. They do not stop. Reports come every cycle. Another supply depot gone. Another command ship vanished. Another world left without power because humans cut its orbital stations. They call these things cleanup operations." Lyra from the Raptori clicked her beak nervously. "Our own admirals say the humans refuse most orders. They take the target list and then disappear. When they return, the job is done. No prisoners, no captured ships, just silence and empty space." General Scath hissed softly. "And their reports to us are short. Objective complete. Nothing else. No details. No questions about next steps. They decide what comes next." A new voice joined the talk. It was Delegate Mara from the Verdari. Her green leaves shook as she spoke. "We must end this now, before the humans decide our galaxy needs more fixing. They fight like nothing we know. No fear of death, no sadness for loss. They treat war like work." The room filled with low sounds of agreement. Clicks, hisses, wing flaps, whispers in many languages. Vexlara raised all four arms for silence. "I have a proposal. We send a direct message to Earth, an open message, on every channel that can reach Sol. We ask, no, we beg, the humans to leave the war, to take their ships home, to stop." Some delegates looked shocked. Others nodded slowly. Kor leaned forward. "And if they say no?" Vexlara met his eyes. "Then we will know where we stand. But we must try. We must show the galaxy that we asked them to leave, that this was not our wish." Almost every light turned green. The motion passed with no yellows and only a few reds. Preparations began at once. Teams worked day and night. They wrote the message in every known language. They recorded it with trembling voices. They added images of empty Krell seats in the council. Images of broken worlds the Krell had burned. Images of children safe now because of the humans. But also images of the same children looking afraid of what might come next. The broadcast went out on the day the message was ready. Every screen in Coalition space showed it. Every ship receiver picked it up. Even neutral worlds far away heard the words. The picture opened with Vexlara standing alone in the empty council chamber. "People of Earth," she said, "we speak to you with respect and fear. You came to help us. You fought for us. You saved many lives. For this we thank you from the depths of our hearts." Her wings trembled just a little. "But the war has changed because of you. The enemy falls faster than we thought possible. The cost to you is small. The cost to the galaxy may become very large. Her voice grew softer. We beg you now. Leave this war. Take your ships home. Withdraw your forces. Do not become the new power that rules these stars. We do not want a new master. We want only peace. Behind her, other delegates appeared. Some held their young close. Others showed scars from old battles. One old Thrin elder wept openly. His tears fell like clear drops on the floor. We implore you, Vexlara finished. Leave Earth out of the war. Let us finish this our way. Please. The message repeated for hours. It played on repeat across every band. Ships carried copies to distant systems. Probes sent it deep into space. On Earth, the broadcast reached every home, every screen, every phone. People watched in living rooms, in offices, in schools. At first, there was silence. Then, quiet laughter started. In one forum, someone posted, "They literally begged us to stop helping, LOL." Memes appeared fast. Pictures of scared aliens holding signs that said, "Please, no more help." Captions read, "When you call the scary kid to fight your bully, and he actually shows up." Another showed the blue Earth with text, "We heard you. We're thinking about it. Just kidding." In command centers, officers watched the message too. Admiral Elena Reyes sat with her team. They played it twice. One young officer shook his head. "They think we're going to turn on them next." Reyes looked at the screen where Vexlara's face froze in mid-sentence. "They asked nicely," she said. "That's something." A message came in from the front, from Captain Sophia Chen. Received alien broadcast. Crew reactions, amusement mostly. "Continue operations?" Reyes thought for a long moment. Then she typed her reply. "Continue as planned. The request has been noted." In hidden shipyards across Sol, more ships rolled out, engines tested, weapons loaded, crews boarded with calm steps. On forums and news channels, humans talked. Some said pull back, respect the aliens' fear. Most said no. One popular post read, "They asked us to leave the Krell alone? After the Krell burned whole worlds? After genocide? No. This is our fight now too." Another wrote, "We didn't start this, but we'll finish it." The Unified Command issued a short public statement later that day. It appeared on every screen on Earth. "We have received the message from the Galactic Concordance. We understand their concern. We respectfully decline to withdraw. The Krell committed acts of genocide on multiple worlds. They continue to threaten civilian populations. These actions cross a line that matters to us. Therefore, we will continue to support the defense of innocent lives. We do not seek to rule. We seek to end the threat. That is all. No more words, no threats, no promises of mercy, just calm fact." Far away, in Coalition space, Vexlara watched the human reply on a small screen. She sat alone in her quarters. The lights were low. She whispered to the empty room. "They heard us. They listened, and then they chose not to obey." Outside her window, stars burned bright and cold. Somewhere in the dark between systems, human ships moved forward. Silent, steady, unstoppable. The plea had failed. The war would not end quietly. The human reply reached every corner of the galaxy like a cold wind. Short, clear, final. No anger in the words, no threats. Just a simple statement that the Krell had crossed a line humans could not ignore. The message ended with 4 plain sentences that left no room for misunderstanding. On Earth, life went on as usual at first. People went to work. Children went to school. Shops stayed open. But under the surface, things moved fast. Shipyards that had been quiet for years roared back to life. Massive assembly lines hummed day and night. New hulls took shape, long, dark, bristling with weapons. Factories that once made cars and appliances now built drives, reactors, and missiles by the thousands. In hidden command bunkers, Maps of the galaxy filled huge screens. Red dots marked Krell worlds. Blue lines showed human fleet paths. They planned not defense, but something much bigger. Captain Sophia Chen received her new orders on the bridge of Hawk 1. The message came straight from Unified Command. Full mandate granted. Transition to offensive operations. Primary goal: complete neutralization of Krell military capability. Secondary goal: removal of command structure. Rules of engagement: standard human doctrine. No unnecessary civilian targets. Maximize speed. Chen looked at her crew. They nodded once. No cheers, no fear. Just quiet focus. Plot course for Krell outer colonies, she said. We start there. What followed was no longer a war of small groups and careful strikes. It became something the galaxy had not seen in 1,000 years. Human fleets poured out of Sol in waves. First came the fast raiders, small ships like the Advisors, but now in hundreds. They hit supply lines, cut communications, burned fuel depots. Krell worlds woke to find their skies empty of trade ships. Food grew scarce. Power flickered. Panic started. Then the main fleets arrived. They looked different from anything the Coalition had ever built. Long, sharp ships with thick armor and engines that glowed white-hot. They carried weapons that could strike from weeks away. Missiles that moved faster than light in the last moments. Drones that swarmed like angry insects. Boarding teams that wore armor strong enough to walk through fire. The Krell tried to fight back. They gathered their remaining ships. They built new defenses. They sent messages begging for terms. Humans answered with silence, and then with fire. One by one, Krell strongholds fell. The fortress world of Kragvor burned for 3 days. Its orbital rings shattered under kinetic barrages. Ground forces landed in thousands. They moved through cities like shadows. Krell warriors fought hard. They died hard. Humans took no joy in it. They simply finished the job. The shipyards at Thalor Prime vanished in a single night. Human stealth ships slipped past defenses. They planted charges on every major structure. When the timers hit 0, the yards turned into expanding clouds of glowing gas. The home fleet of the Krell gathered for one last stand near their capital world. 600 ships, the largest force they had ever fielded. Human commanders watched from far away. They counted, they measured, they waited. Then they struck. Relativistic weapons arrived first. Spears of metal dropped from jumps at near light speed. They punched through shields like paper. Command ships died before they could scream. The rest tried to close. Human formations split and danced. They used gravity wells to slingshot around planets. They fired from angles the Krell had never seen. Boarding parties hit the flagships. Marines fought deck by deck. They used shotguns in tight halls. They used blades when ammo ran low. They set reactor overloads and left. The ships died from inside. In 6 standard months, the Krell Dominion ceased to exist as a power. Their homeworld, Krell Prime, was left untouched. Not out of mercy. Humans decided a living example worked better than another dead rock. The planet kept its cities and its people. But every military base, every weapon factory, every spaceport was reduced to dust. The Krell could never rise again. The war ended not with a treaty or a parade. It ended with silence. In the Galactic Concordance Station, the council chamber felt empty. Many seats stayed vacant. Some species had already sent quiet messages to Earth. They offered trade. They offered friendship. They offered submission. Vexlara sat in her usual place. She looked older now. She stared at the empty seat where the Krell delegate once sat. A new figure entered the chamber. He was human. Tall, plain uniform, no weapons visible. He carried only a datapad. His name was Ambassador Marcus Hale. He walked to the center podium without hurry. The room went still. "I come as representative of Earth," he said in calm galactic standard. We have completed our operations against the Krell. The threat is over. We return to our system now. We have no wish to rule your worlds or take your resources." He paused. "But we will watch. If any power rises to repeat what the Krell did, we will answer again. Not as allies, not as conquerors, as a line in the dark that must not be crossed." No one spoke. No one moved. Hale looked slowly around the room. "We did not ask to come here. You asked us. Remember that." His steps echoed in the quiet. Vexlara waited until the doors closed. Then she spoke in a whisper that everyone heard. "We begged them to stay out. We pleaded with them to leave. They listened, just long enough to decide we were not worth listening to." Outside the station, the stars looked the same. Cold, endless, beautiful. Far below on the blue world called Earth, people woke up to normal days. They drank coffee. They kissed their children goodbye. They went to jobs that felt small compared to what had just happened. But in quiet moments, some looked up at the night sky. They knew something now. The galaxy knew it too. A new power sat at the table, not asking for a seat, but simply taking it. Quiet, patient, terrifying when needed. And for the first time in memory, no one dared start another war. The blue marble turned slowly in the void. Serene, safe, unchallenged.